So yesterday we left off here. So that's where we're at. That's going to fit up inside the front nose of the bumper where the other fog light used to be on the driver's side. It'll be bolted inside, so won't be touching the bumper. So that a million times. So you guys figured out what did come in the mail was our filter, which turns out to be a little bit bigger than what we made, but not too bad. So it's gonna fit right down in there, and as you see, this will shield the water. We're gonna put a hole back here so it will kind of shoot the water out there, and this will push the air around because the volume of air that's gonna be pushing through there, it's just gonna push fresh air all through there. Pressure differential kind of stuff. So that's cool. What we did find out is my video sounds like shit, not because I don't keep buying expensive microphones, but because the adapter for add emphasis. These stupid adapters, apparently GoPro in a scheme to make a buck, you have to use only their special adapter for the GoPro 5. And even though I reached out to some buddies that are like smarter than me in tech stuff, apparently they didn't know about it. No big deal. I don't blame the company for trying to make a buck. So we ordered that up, so hopefully we'll be getting that. We'll attach this microphone, and hopefully the sound will be a little bit better, because it's horrible. Even in other people's demonstrational videos where they're using without a mic, this one sounds really bad, and it's a real GoPro. It's not a Chinese knockoff. I just don't think it is. So it is what it is. Doesn't mean we're going to stop production or stop videos. We're just going to keep trucking on because we got work to do, and hopefully you enjoy watching make this stuff and see how it kind of comes together. So what we'll do is we'll put the hole in this thing, and I think that'll be the end of the fabrication part for the hole back here in the fabrication part for this piece. Then we'll get it all tacked up and welded, and we will be ready to rock, get it installed, start on the actual intake pipe. So stand by. All right, so we're going to go ahead and punch that hole in the back of that box for all the water to go through. And you just see I'm just manually kind of eyeballing it. And I'll put it here, and I'll grab some T-squares and use these T-squares to lay it out. And that just ensures that, the lines that we're making are parallel, right angles. We have everything centered and it is aesthetically pleasing. Definitely the tool for the job. But what I want to talk about is on these corners, what I do is I radius them. I put a 1/4 inch radius on it. And you see that red case I just pulled out there? Those are radius gauges, and not everybody is aware of them, but they're pretty badass. It has all different radiuses, from very small to very, pretty large. It's made by Starrett, and it has on each tool, like I'm using a 1/4 inch tool to make 1/4 inch radiuses. They have an inside, an outside, and a 1/4 radius. So it's great for either checking radius or drawing what the radiuses are. And then another thing not everybody knows about is that bit on the end of my drill right there. It's called a center drill. And on your normal drill bit, it has a 118-degree tip, so it's kind of flat. And if you've ever, tried to drill metal with it before, you've probably dealt with it walking around a little bit before it starts to bite and actually goes down. Well, center drill has a 90-degree point, so it's much more aggressive. So once you center punch your metal and start dropping that center drill into where you center punched it, it's going to go straight down. It's not going to walk around on you. And if you're doing critical stuff where you need the hole to be where you're actually putting it, that's a great tool. So go check it out. The countersinks are at the same angle, so get yourself a good carbide one. So basically, I just popped 4 holes in that metal at the corners on the inside of the drawing that I made, and I'm just gonna do like school book, like coloring book, just try to stay inside the lines. So I got my jigsaw out there, and I'm just gonna go from corner to corner. You know, I would rather be working on the other side of this material because when you do stuff like this, it scratches it. The little BBs that come off, the little, you know, shavings, the chips, if you will, that come off of the saw actually kind of has a tendency, even on this side with the vinyl, will push through the vinyl and kind of scratch it up. But it wasn't conducive to it. So right here, I'm just using a carbide burr to go through there and just kind of walk it in, kind of just nice and easy. Um, it's an aluminum bit that I'm using, an aluminum burr, and they differ from the regular metal, your regular steel burrs in that it looks kind of like a drill bit. It has usually, you know, only like 5 flutes, I think 5 or 6 flutes, and it looks like a drill bit. They're just all the way down. There's no little knobbies, and it's made to take, you know, serious bites. If you've ever used a burr on aluminum, you'll know it loads up the bit. Well, not with these really high flute bits, so it will actually get it out of there. So check into that if you don't know what it is, or you can PM me, whatever. I'll point you in the right direction. But it makes a big difference. But if they get caught because you're leaning on too hard, it will send the tool into the material and usually jack some stuff up. So I just throw a woven abrasive disc on my grinder here, and just basically that's flattening it out, taking kind of, you know, the waviness that I put in with the die grinder and making it flat. So I'll just deburr it and then take an eye and look at it, and where it kind of is not flat, I'll go in there with a regular old hand file and just make it flat. Nothing like using those old, you know, manual tools. Just like the old days, man. It's great. That's it. So I had to clean up one of those radiuses a little bit, and I'm going to throw it together and give you guys a look at what kind of is laying out, what it's going to look like when we get done. So bam, here you go. Here I am. I just have a pipe washer set up in my vise. I have a woven abrasive belt on that guy. It kind of looks like Scotch-Brite. And what I do on my aluminum, well, pretty much everything I weld, is I go over all the weldable surfaces. So, like on these guys, it's going to be all on the outside. So, I'll just run it over the outside, and that just keeps boogers from showing up in the weld, gets all the crap out of there. So, you're actually welding clean metal. So all the cleaning and the checking the fit up might seem a bit neurotic, and I get that. But if you're the welder guy, that fit up is the most important thing. It's, you know, like doing the body work before a paint job. So I just check and check and check. And what you want is you want it basically almost where it's just going to fall in on itself. I want that top plate to be adjacent, you know, to the actual metal that it's going to be welded to. And that's going to make the nicest finish. You kind of want like a 45-degree dip between the two pieces as they adjoin. And here I am setting up my rig for aluminum. It's just your standard cullet with the number 5. and I'll run that at about 12 CFH. So usually if you light up on something, like I have some nice copper plate and I light up on it a couple times just to see how my tungsten is wanting to ball up. If it does ball up, make sure my settings are right, and then I'll grab this little like test piece and I'll start running beads, and you see usually I run one or two and I'm happy and we go about our way. But after a couple of beads, it was the gas coverage was not right, so I started monkeying with it. You saw I turned up the gas a hair and that didn't fix it, so I ended up taking the cup off and kind of cleaning it out. And I guess there was a booger in there that was kind of making the gas go just to one side mostly. So that was it. After I cleaned the booger out and ran another pass, you saw I just chucked it down to the ground there because it was good. So go ahead and usually I hit the corners. I'll clip a little bit off the corner and then I'll hit it and it'll give me a good reference point, and I'll go ahead and get that line up. Earlier I said 45, but actually I meant 90. You just want them kind of sitting on almost the edge of each other, so there's kind of nothing in between them. And I ran these at I think 130 amps, 70 AC balance, and the frequency is usually between 100 and 200. I'm not really sure where I had it at here. Welded and the little guy's tacked, and it turned out halfway okay. I mean, I'm not really used to welding this thin stuff, so I was a little tripping about going into it. There's still a little bit too much heat. It penetrated a little. I didn't want to penetrate it all, but it's kind of hard not to. But no big deal. It will look just fine, I do believe. So we're gonna set this down in front of the fan and let it cool a little bit, and then we're gonna once again take off the bumper, put this on, put the bumper back on, check it, and take the bumper off, put the bumper on, take the bumper off. Are you shooting the video, dog? Dog, turn the video camera on. Go, Hans. Turn on the video camera. Shit. So, surprisingly enough, it actually fits. It actually kind of works. So, right in there fits up nice. And it's fitting the inside contour, and it's butted up against the inside there. And that is considered a win in most people's books. So let's grab their on, and we're on. So that's not bad. Happy that fit. That was a lot of work to get to that point. So now we just got to do our little shield. Whoop. Right, meow. Get right, meow. And we'll be winning at the game of life. That's a bummer. I think it might be too big to fit in here now. Or if
There's just a lot of work. So that guy's going to go in there like that. Is this thing running? And that will again shoot the air or the water away. Air intake. So we just threw some clamps on here, and we got the bumper off again. Yeah, yay! And we're just checking the fitment, see how everything goes, make sure everything's going smoothly how you want it to be. This little wing piece right here, it's a little bit canted when compared back there to that hole. So if you're OCD like me, you just can't walk away from that. So we'll tweak it a little bit, make it, you know, go parallel with that, and throw the bumper back on and see what we got. So I think what I'm going to do, as opposed to welding that wing in there and then trying to hang this box, I think I'm going to go ahead and drill the holes now and get it set up to mount against this rail over here. And that will be the easiest way to do that. That way I'm not trying to drill around that piece of aluminum. Although, you know, it might not be difficult, but it's a whole lot easier right now. So do that first and put in the mounting system, and then we'll go back, double check, put the bumper on, take the bumper off, and make sure that's good. Once that's done, we'll tack that wing in there, go weld it out, and the box will be done. We'll just need to make the actual intake pipe for the little turbo charger that's hiding out down there.
Firstly, apologize for the camera angle here. I know this isn't necessarily the picture you want to see, but I'm clamped in the box that we made, and I put on the bumper and took it off like 100,000 times to make sure everything's lined up and it didn't move. So what I did is I went in there with maybe like a 3/16 drill bit and just drilled in through the box and into the metal. It's a 1 1/4 inch square tube. I think it's probably 11 gauge, and I drilled through all the way to mark it. So when I marked it, then I was able to take the box out, and I knew those holes would line up once they were in place. Then all I did was just go ahead and put some rivet nuts in there. You see that rivet nut on the left-hand side? It looks like a rivet gun, but it actually puts nuts on holes. So if you're not familiar with that, get familiar with it. It's a great tool, and they're not really expensive, and it gets you out of a bind a lot of times. You don't want to try to be messing with, trying to hold a nut on one side or whatever. So I got it mounted with the 2 rivet nuts, and then I'm just fitting the bumper. Bumper goes on, bumper goes off, and it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And now all I really have to do is mark that shield in the front there to make sure that it's located in the right place. So once we go into welding, it'll be all positioned. So let's bumper on, bumper off, bumper on, bumper off, mark it, double check, make sure nothing's moving, and then we'll yank that off there and get the shield welded in place. So 20 minutes is long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up right now. And in the next episode, we'll weld that front end, and we'll add some more support to the mounting system, and it'll be done. So I appreciate y'all's patience, and hope you enjoyed watching this video.